Hey, lovely people, and welcome back. How about having a citizen science UFO detection network? We know Avi Loeb is setting up these observatories all over the world, but he's in control of Harvard data. How about we do it? Well, John and EJ have come up with UFO Sense, a USB powered device similar to about this size. He's sending me one here in France, and when I get it, I'll test it. But so far, he's deployed them over the United States. They just sit in your house and they detect magnetic anomalies. I think that's very interesting because there's very good evidence that either UAPs are evoked, appear, attracted, or disrupted by our magnetosphere on Earth being disrupted. And this thing will detect magnetic anomalies. It will locally beep. So, there's a UFO over my house or within, say, 50-mile range. But it will also log the event to a map. And using real-time data, we can then see where it came from, where it was, and where it's going. So John and EJ's UFO Sense network will send you an email so you can go out and look at the sky. I mean, they are very keen to get verifiable data. I spoke to John and EJ over a year ago about how to photograph a UFO. It's very important to not zoom it in, get raw data, get references, get time data, so we can eliminate the prosaic. And this new sensor sounds like a really good idea. If it can detect a magnetic anomaly, and you just go out and look in the sky, and it will actually be citizen controlled. I spoke to John and EJ, and they will explain everything about their network. And there's links in the description so you can get a device and join their network today.
Hey, everybody. Guess who we have? We have EJ and John back. Hey, we had them both here on this channel, over a year ago, John? Yeah, we were talking about photographing UFOs. And at that time, you mentioned that you both were designing a device to detect UFOs, and you've got one. So tell us what you've built. Show it to us.
I've got one. Whoa, it doesn't work too well with that. I'll put it right in front of me.
Yeah, in front of you. A UFO Sense, right.
It's a device that can pick up gravitational and electromagnetic field disturbances in the Earth's fields, and it will connect to the internet. So the big advantage of this over other similar UFO detectors is it connects to the internet and sends out an alert to your phone, so you can be down at the grocery store, or if you're a member of our UFO Track group, and that's the big thing that we're trying to get, is this membership going with a lot of people. Then if you're within 50 miles, you'll get an alert also. So
you can run outside and look at the sky. And Ellen, EJ, you posted an actual alert that went off today or recently?
It was 2 days ago, and it started at 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
And we get all the alerts. We get everybody in 50 miles will get an alert of the device, but John and I get all the alerts. So at 6:30, we're like, okay, an alert's went off. So we find out where it is, and then we check in with whose device it is. And when it's reasonable, we call them because we want them to respond to the device, go outside with the camera, look up, figure out what's going on. And then after the fact, then we'll gather more data. But so we called him a little bit after that, and he said he didn't see anything in the sky, but he's very rural. So he said that neighbors' cows were screaming. So something disturbed the electromagnetic field in his area for almost 40 minutes. The device went off 4 times. So for 40 minutes.
Wow.
But he didn't see anything, but the animal agitation was really interesting. So that's what we recorded. So something disturbed the magnetic field enough to agitate animals. Even though we didn't see a device, there was something going on. We checked later, there was no earthquakes in the area. No aurora activity, anything like that. So the cause is still under investigation in essence.
So to speak.
Yeah,
But
no, it's very interesting. Here's a clip that Alan made announcing it.
The event began with the UFO Sense device detecting a magnetic event in the area of Guffey, Colorado, early on the morning of November 4th, roughly 6:30 local time. The UFO Sense box went off again 11 minutes later, then 12 minutes later, then 16 minutes later, meaning whatever the disturbance was, it was still affecting the magnetic field a full 39 minutes after the initial detection. The owners of the UFO Sense were alerted and went outside to see what was happening. It was a clear morning and there wasn't anything in the sky. However, the witness said that when they went outside, they could hear their neighbors' cows, in their words, screaming. They couldn't tell what set off the device, but whatever it was, the animals were feeling it too. Our witness filled out a report at report.ufotrack.com to describe the event a little more, which is what is supposed to happen. The UFO Sense device detection registers it as a sighting, but the only data it can actually record is the time of the magnetic anomaly. It alerts the people who then go outside, camera and cell phone in hand, to gather more data and report it in the app. With any luck, someone else in that 50-mile radius of notifications sent will also see something, and they can use the app to report it. And as these reports get automatically logged on sightings.ufotrack.com, we should be able to track an anomaly across the U.S. Heck, anywhere in the world where we have people in the network. Today's alert yielded some interesting data. A long event, 40 minutes. Animal agitation, interesting. But sadly, no pictures, as no one ever saw an object. But whatever happened, we know this for sure. Something affected the Earth's magnetic field in the area of Guffey for more than half an hour this morning. UFO Sense and UFO Track's objectives were realized, and the event was cataloged, plotted, and documented. Without the device, we'd have never known anything was happening. UFO Sense is a UFO detector that detects changes in the Earth's magnetic and gravitic fields and alerts device owners to the disturbance, but it also sends out alerts to UFO Track's Patreon members who want to get notified if there is an event within 50 miles of them, so that they have a chance to go out, camera in hand, ready to document an anomalous event, and then let people within 50 miles of them know that they've seen it as well. UFO Track Patreon members don't need to own their own devices to be notified. They just have to sign up and provide their location so we can detect if a UFO report or UFO detection is near them so that they can be made aware. Join us on this grand experiment to bring about citizen-led disclosure through teamwork and technology. Get your own UFO Sense device at ufotrack.com and visit us on patreon.com/UFOtrack. And remember, keep looking up.
Right. How do they work? I'm very intrigued because I have come to the conclusion by speaking to a lot of people in science that UAP specifically are either attracted, disturbed, or maybe made visible from a different dimension by altering the Earth's magnetosphere. Do you both think that that magnetic influence that you're detecting with your device is related to the phenomenon?
Well, we've been looking at through a lot of the historical UFO sightings data, and a lot of cases. There's just a lot of cases where compasses, if somebody happens to have a compass in front of them, like a lot of pilot, they'll start spinning, and so there's a lot of evidence that there is electromagnetic effects. Even EJ, you want to tell them about the what was the guy that was on the mountain, the prospector when
everybody knows about the Kenneth Arnold case, the old original and his magnetic field, his devices
in his aircraft
went crazy. But there were so many other witnesses to that same event, but most people didn't know about it because there was really no way to coordinate that. But there was a prospector that was within 40 miles of where Kenneth Arnold saw the plane, and he was up about 5,000 feet. And he said his compass just went crazy, and he saw several objects fly through. He wasn't as eloquent as Kenneth Arnold with the description, but he was clearly seeing we think the same objects because it was the same day, same afternoon, within just a few minutes of the initial report. And within like 40 miles of him, he was on Mount Hood, and Kenneth was Mount Adams, or vice versa. But
sure. Oh, I'd never heard that. That's fantastic new information that people had. There's multiple witnesses to the Arnold event. Oh, fascinating. Yeah.
It is. I've got a YouTube about that as well. But it is, what's curious is we know that Fred knew about Kenneth because Kenneth got a lot of publicity, but we don't ever know if Kenneth ever knew about Fred. Can you imagine how much more validating Kenneth would have felt if he'd have known that there was somebody else who saw the same stuff? And if you look in the old archives for UFOs, John dug up like 6 other witnesses that were in that same general area and time frame who made reports. And he's got a Medium article about that. So those links are all on our UFO track for Medium and YouTube. But in the description. What we want to see with our work is multiple independent witnesses to the same event, so that we can gather data, and then we can maybe triangulate it because we've got 2 photos from 2 different locations, get size, distance, speed, etc. But that kind of data has been elusive because people aren't prepared to go out and photograph. In a moment, when you see something, it's like, oh my God, there it is, and that's why we have shaky photos and everything like that. So our intention with our network is to alert people, say, this is the situation, go outside prepared with your phone or your camera in hand, and hopefully they're not as shaky. They're like excited, and we'll go out there and try to find out what's going on. And then after the fact, we'll gather the information from, the independent sources and find out what we can find out. So we had an event go off with the alarm a couple months ago, where it was the gravitational field had gone off. And this was an independent investigator. We actually let her post it on her channel, which is called the Rocky Mountain Ranch Research Channel. But it was her device. And then with her sources, she found out that NORAD had also detected something out. And then they got a photo of something interesting in the area later. So we had 3 independent things reporting the same day. We don't know if it was the same event or even if the photograph showed anything truly exotic, because we only had 1 photograph to work with. But this is it, to try to get multiple independent witnesses to the same event. And so through the alert system, through the notification system, we're trying to gather as many people in a given area when somebody sees something, or when the alarm goes off, and see what we can see, and see, it's just going to be a matter of time that there's going to be multiple.
Build a network. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's great.
One of the things that I notice is that if there's one person sees an event, it's not a lot of credibility. It depends on what they see. But if you have 2 independently see the same thing. Oh, yeah. And especially if you have 2 cameras see the same thing, all of a sudden you can get multiple information extracted by the geometrical parallactic shift and that kind of thing. That I've got software working that does that. And so that's our goal, is to get the credibility up and the number of witnesses. There's so many cameras in the world right now, on dash cams and Ring doorbells and security cams, and especially everybody's pocket has a cell phone camera in it. So more and more and more, we're going to have multiple camera views of an event, just like we have multiple camera views of meteors right now on YouTube. You see those all over.
Oh yeah,
fireballs for like that. We're going to have that with UFOs one of these days, real soon, and be able to figure that out. And we had a similar event. We go out sky watching as well with our 2 cameras.
That's right.
That are low light cameras. And the other night we were filming, and we saw stuff in the cameras that you couldn't see with the naked eye. So we saw stuff in the cameras, and the person that we were with had a low light binocular, and they could see it, but we couldn't see it with the naked eyes. So interesting. And we had 2 cameras out, so we were able to triangulate that and found that there was some stuff flying about 3 times higher than helicopters normally would, kind of buzzing an area, but there were like a dozen of them. and in a very, very low populated area of Colorado. So that wasn't right. So anyways, but what we were able to determine was their location and their elevation. And they were just pinpoints of light. We couldn't really get size, but we could get, speed, altitude, location, everything like that. And they were anomalous. The planes fly in that general area, but they weren't acting like planes, and you wouldn't fly that many planes in that area, especially in that sparsely populated of an area. So
information, no, it'd be odd. So you're really hoping to have this is going to really spread, like Daisy, but by having a network, and then people can then have the devices, but then be part of this network. So they'll get alerts, and even I suppose you don't even need the device. If you're part, right?
No, you don't. You don't. So when we have another website called report.ufotrack.com, and people can just input what they're seeing. That it's a orb that is traveling northwest.
Yeah.
And if
they're
seeing that, even though it hasn't been detected by a device, if they're seeing it, they can report it.
Yeah.
And then it can go out to people within 50 miles of that. And then hopefully somebody within 50 miles sees that, reports it again.
Right.
And then people within 50 miles of them will see it.
Sure.
And then hopefully somebody there will see it. And we can actually, as a citizen network, track something flying across the U.S. or even the world. Depending on what the members are.
Right.
So this is something nobody else has been able to do. So that's why we need members just willing to get notified and willing to look up and willing to report if they see something.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We do have an online map that shows where all these sightings when they come in. It goes to this.
Great.
So people can see.
Yeah, it's automatically logged. So
sure.
I keep
we can see it in real time.
I keep imagining what would have been the scenario in Phoenix, the Phoenix light event.
Lights, right.
People saw something, but hardly anybody got any photographic evidence.
Right.
Today, if we had UFO Track going there with a handful of these devices and a lot of members, we would have had so much evidence. It would be a completely different scenario. So we're hoping for the next Phoenix lights we can be ready.
Sure. And you can also, it's time-based media, so you can see where they came from, where they're over somebody's house, and where they went. So you can do a track, you can do time, you can do speed, do they disappear? Do they go to a specific location? Oh, no, it's great. Well done. It's just what we want. I mean, this kind of already exists in the astronomical community. You can report meteor showers or satellite re-entries, and it's correlated. My wife and I saw a wonderful satellite re-entry here in France, and I immediately knew what it was, but I reported it, and then on that website, just like yours, it showed that it went west and eventually it landed in the Bay of Biscay. So yeah, I would have never have known that. It just went over our house. So it was fascinating. And citizen science is just the way to go, because we're not getting the kind of, the disclosure from any FAA or the military to actually say what these things are. So if we can all go out and actually log it, I'm so proud of you. And let's make it global. Let's get some in France.
Absolutely. That's absolutely. Yeah. That they sit, the devices, the UFO Sense devices sit just basically on a coffee table or wherever you'd like it. And try to keep it away from where you're walking by it all the time and things like that. So put it up at its high end corner.
Okay.
It does need to be plugged in, so you can't just pop it in an attic or something. But put it where it's not going to have a lot of traffic, and so that way we don't get false positives.
No big magnetic.
Right. Avoid your magnets near it.
Yeah, but we need Wi-Fi and power. And you've got the device. So as long as it's hooked up to the Wi-Fi, then you'll get the instant text. So will people within 50 miles of you, and that's where it's going to spread. It's not this isolated incident, this lone witness. We're going to get witness after witness after witness, and hopefully photo after photo after photo. And start coming up with verified data, verified evidence that there's something exotic flying in our skies.
Well, there is, and
I know.
I know you're kidding, and it's global. I mean,
it is.
As I say, if it's going to be in Nebraska, it's going to be in Namibia, and we have to see this as a global phenomenon. Tell me more, John, about what's inside the box.
Okay, it's just got a microcontroller and sensors, and that's the core of it, plus the ability to connect to the internet. And
a buzzer.
And what now?
And a buzzer.
And a buzzer. Oh yeah, that was a good idea.
It does sound an alert locally, but you can be out of the house and still get your alert on your phone.
Okay.
The whole goal of this is real-time alerts. Other UFO research groups are kind of like after the fact. They're studying what happened and trying to put together patterns, and that's great. But I think we're the first time to get real-time alerts so that we can get more valid data out there. We can hand over the really good sightings to the research groups. Yeah. So it works hand in hand with that. But this is the real-time alert, so we can increase the quality and quantity of sightings is the real goal.
And they're measurable alerts, and they are trackable geographically and, as I said, in time. The problem, I have a lot of individual witness reports, is I think the human brain is finds it very hard to process the highly strange. I think these phenomenon that we see, whether it's things in the sky or even strange creatures or other anomalies, are so different that we tend to make up what they are. Certainly in the cases that I've followed, we've had two witnesses standing next to each other have seen different things. And that's more a process of what's in our head rather than what the thing is. So I like the empirical data of time and sightings and geographic data. Oh, great. I'm such a big supporter. And that you're doing it in a social, with citizen science it ticks every box for me. Well done. It's good. So how do people get hold of these devices and on your web and join the group and the website?
Everything has a hub at ufotrack.com. UFO-track.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can get to, you can purchase the unit from there.
Right.
And you can also join the network from there. We have a Patreon network.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the social aspect of this comes in. The patrons and us are communicating through the Patreon mechanism.
Sure.
And then the YouTube is also listed there. But also, if you can't remember report.ufotrack.com, you can go to UFO Track, and the first thing is report a UFO here. So if you can just remember the main website, it's a hub for everything.
Oh, that's great. That's good. And they will work internationally. It just needs a USB power supply and Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, great. Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. We need a different plug. So when we do ship internationally, we'll have to have the European compliant plug.
Oh, they don't just use USB-C or the USB. Well,
what plugs into the wall?
Well, people.
For power.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I think everybody in every country will have their own power brick with a USB-C, cable from something.
We're trying to make it as standard as possible across the.
Sure. Brilliant. And so, what's the range of the detections? How close to the device does it detect? I suppose it's the strength of the anomaly, but
we're not sure. It's an open-ended question. The alert we had 2 days ago, we're not sure how far that was away, but something changed.
It probably had to have been a mile or so, because you had to.
Close.
It was a rural area,
right?
And the cows weren't on this man's land; he was on the next man's land. Now he has 35 acres, so you do the math how far that at least had to have reached. But
the magnetic fields have to be very strong because of the inverse square law. That decreases with distance.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of evidence that UFOs can be seen hundreds or thousands of feet away and still affect compasses. So somehow it's doing
That's
that.
right.
That's
Yeah.
Catching that.
Well, I've been investigating a lot of this whole connection, and that's why I'm so interested in your device and your network, of course. The whole connection between how UAP are either attracted to or made visible. I think that's maybe a good way of saying it. When there's electromagnetic anomalies, there's a classic case of when they were doing EMP testing with atmospheric nuclear tests. That's almost always weird anomalous craft were seen, and then later on, when atmospheric nuclear tests were banned, but they were still messing around with our electromagnetic field because they wanted the same effects militaristically. In a case that I know where they built one of these devices, every time they switched it on, they would see weird things in the sky. And are they attracted, or are they just always there and just made visible?
Well, that brings up a very interesting point.
And mess with the cloaking device.
Right.
It brings up a very interesting point in that we've got this concept that we're kind of approaching also of communication in kind. People have flashed flashlights or headlights, and they seem to respond at about the same level of communication. Right. And so the second device, it's not on the market yet, but I've got the prototype right here. I've got to do that.
Oh,
you can get on the waiting list or wanting one if you want to.
So the goal of this, we call it UFO CQ. What it does is, with your phone, you can type in a message and set this over on a picnic table, and it will flash like an arrangement of LEDs. It'll flash bright red LEDs skyward with Morse code at various speeds. You can set the speed. And we've had anecdotal results that have been pretty impressive. I can't prove anything, but we've had some results. And other like CE5, they try to call them in with mental and emotional energy.
Sure.
And that's not very nuts and boltsy. And we're trying to do something a little more nuts and boltsy.
Or proper kind of dog whistle. Yeah. Well, I researched this story in Wisconsin when I lived there. There's this guy who was one of the forefathers of lasers. And he was absolutely obsessed with UFOs at the time. And he would go out at night in a field in Wisconsin with his high-powered lasers in the early 60s. He went on to work for NASA. I mean, he's an amazing chap. And in fact, invented the first laser cutting device for operating tables for medicine. So he definitely knows his lasers. But he would go out at night and play laser light up into the sky with music. And that was the inspiration for Close Encounters, that idea of the lights with the 5 tones that they obviously play in that movie, was exactly what he did. So, yes, do they communicate back?
They might do.
They might
be a real thing. We're going to find out. We're going to experiment with that too.
I love it. Oh, great. Well, I'll have to mow my lawn so they can land.
Right.
No, that'd be
we're looking for UFOs in places that other people can't see them.
Right.
So one of the things that we do with our sky watches and separating the cameras in 2 locations so that we can triangulate where those lights are is that air-breathing aircraft can't really fly higher than about 20 miles, and satellites really cannot orbit less than 100. So we've got this huge little, we've got this huge area of the sky that we call the no-fly zone. Now, if something is a straight line light and just flies at a constant speed, everybody will dismiss that as a satellite. But our 2 cameras can mathematically prove that it is flying where it shouldn't be flying. And we have had, again, studying some of the historical cases, such as Project Blue Book and things like that, there are radar sightings and various other measurements where people said, no, that's a that's 50 miles up, 100 miles up.
Yeah. How could it be? Right.
Yeah, nothing can fly there. So what we want to do is find UFOs that have been previously undetectable or previously dismissed just because nobody could prove it, and prove it. That's what
I think that's brilliant. I mean, look at the recent work of Beatrice Villarreal with these anomalous transients that she's finding in early 1950s, obviously prior to Sputnik. The only thing that I would like to raise on that is that in the time that she's finding those, there was a hell of a lot of in your no-fly zone, there was a hell of a lot of very high altitude balloons with payloads underneath that twinkled. But but she needs to eliminate those. We're talking about this, by the way, because something in your no-fly zone, say 80 to nearly 100,000 feet, where these spy balloons with payloads, it's not the balloon, it's the payload that twinkles, are only visible for maybe a couple of hours after sunset or before sunrise, when they're high enough still to glint from sunlight down onto the darkened, cone of darkness at the observatory. But if she's got observations at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're not balloons. They can't be. They have to be way high to actually still twinkle. So there's so many, and then the whole drone anomaly. Maybe when people have drone anomalies over their city with one of your devices, it would be interesting to correlate if there's an electromagnetic, disturbance.
And
if we do end up with a, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. And if we get 2 camera views on something like that, we can calculate exactly how high and how fast, how big, and that can help rule out or rule in drones and, common explanations. And like if there were 2 cameras back in the 50s on her objects that she's been looking at, then we could get some parallactic shift triangulation. I think you said there's another observatory that might have.
Yeah, I think
awesome.
Yeah, we've been talking about this. It just so happens that my wife went to college with the archivist at the Lick Observatory, which is near San Jose, I believe. I'm not an American, and he has large 10x8 plates of the same of a similar sky survey at the same time. So,
really?
We're Beatrice is in touch with them now, so it's good. And the other thing about the Lick's plates is that they're not digitized; they're actually glass plates in paper bags, and so if there are scratches or anomalies in the emulsion damage, you can physically hold it up and go, oh, somebody scratched that one. Whereas her anomalies, it was difficult to eliminate plate damage because they were already just scanned. So I'm really hopeful that that's going to happen. But no, what we want is multiple geographic time-based media data. And that's what you guys are doing.
Today, it's happening now.
Right.
Disclosure means a lot of things to a lot of people, a lot of different things to a lot of people. But for us, disclosure, we want to bring about disclosure, citizen-led disclosure through technology and teamwork. But what that really means to us is we want to prove that there's exotic things flying in our sky right now, undeniable, verifiable, et cetera, et cetera. Going back into history and getting the technology that, might be in a corporation's hands or something. I don't know that, that's not our fight. What our objective is trying to find these exotics right now, getting a whole network of people looking at the sky in an excited way, not a fearful way. I think that's going to help the camera pictures not be quite as shaky. But I want to see a whole bunch of excited people get an alert, go outside, see something, and then report it and upload the documentation to our mechanism so that we can all study it. And we do make our data available to the public to study, to our members to study, but anybody can join the network.
Sure.
And
good.
So we're going to get it. We're going to get the data.
You are. And I mean, last time we talked about that verification using photography, that if people go out people will send me kind of single point light sources on a wobbly iPhone, and it's just rubbish. I mean, sorry, people, but you really need to photograph the church spire and and tell me what time it was and where you were pointing and get a wide shot. I never digitally process the picture because that just introduces artifacts. No, raw photography, please. And
even if you can get two pictures with just point sources of light that are really not very impressive. But if you can get it from two cameras, then you can do the analysis beyond just looking at the surface texture. You can actually calculate its distance and velocity and acceleration and all that kind of thing.
Oh, that's right. So that's a really good point. So we were like going, you need to take better pictures, but in fact you don't, because you just need to take lots of pictures, and with your software and your network, you can start working out trajectories and time and everything and speed.
Information that other people just haven't extracted from the possibilities of getting it. So
great. Well, you should be. Well, congratulations! It's very exciting for me, and yeah, I'd like to participate, and I'm sure that people all over the world will want to. And the more people you get, the better. So good. All right.
Thank you. Yes. Join the network.
I will. Yeah, good. And yeah. So everybody, links in the description to the network and get a device. And, I'm such an advocate of citizen science. You really do need to do this because your government, your military aren't going to tell you the truth. You need to, and maybe the truth is quite hard to understand. So you need to verify rather than just believe. And if you can verify by actually seeing something and being part of this network, brilliant. Go for it, everybody. It's a really, really great idea. Thanks, EJ and John. That's fantastic. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to talk to you. And of course, we have to keep in touch because I'll be on the network, but when a flap comes up over wherever, we need to deep dive into what happened.
Oh, well, that's exactly right. Something like the Hudson Valley flap or something where they were buzzing for 30 days or something in a row. If we had this going, we'd be getting the data. This would no longer be an anomalous thing. It would be a known thing. And
let's move from anomaly to known. Yeah, precisely. I completely agree.
Disclosure has been from the top down and slow trickle, and we believe in kind of like floating everybody's boat from the bottom up and getting information, nuts and bolts information that
good.
The disclosure in a different way. That's what we're about.
But it's not just going to be anecdotal witness disclosure. It's going to be factual. It's going to be based on sensor data, which can be verified and mapped.
Right.
Yeah. And this data shouldn't be classified. There's no reason in the world for this to be.
No.
It will be open to the public for their review. I mean, you can go to sightings.ufotrack.com and see what has happened recently with all the devices. I vet them once they've been vetted, then they'll go to reports.ufotrack.com. And we think it's a real sighting. Then we collect more data there. And that's the area where the members can go and do deep dives. So into historic data, into current data, and we can look for the patterns. And if we can see some patterns, maybe we can anticipate some things and maybe set up a skywatch in various locations. Who knows? We don't know.
There might be hot spots.
Right.
And as you say, a skywatch. And can people upload witness reports just as text? And can they upload photographs as well?
Yeah,
well, we're really not. But we're really not about the after the fact investigation so much. That's kind of a key distinction that I like to make, because we're about the real-time events, and I'm a strong believer in some of the UFO research groups. I'm a member of one, and we want to hand the really good sighting data to them for the deep analysis later after the fact. But we're really striving for the real-time to increase the amount of good data we can get.
Yeah, we want to hand better data over to the investigators so they've got more to investigate. But also back to that, on our maps, if there is a news story, we link it. If there is a video, we'll link it.
You'll
If
link
there
it.
is a photograph, we'll link it. So people can see more than just a dot on a map that can hover over it. And if there is something to see or more data that's out on the internet, we can link right to it. So we do our best to gather all the data and point people in the right direction and give those investigators more data to work with, more and better data to work with.
And not all, from my research, not all UAP are optically visible. So you could, with these sensors, you could be detecting something which remains cloaked or invisible for various reasons in physics, why you can't see it with our basic eyes. So that could well track something which people could be out in the field with their cows and not see it, but the device is going beep, beep, beep. Oh, come. And, and it's going to make a data log of something overhead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or something moving anyways. It might be underground. Who knows where the magnetic anomaly might be, but we can track it if it's moving. If we have enough members in the area and enough devices, along the path, which is our goal. So.
All right. Well, keep up the good work, and I can't wait for a whole bunch of people with correlating data. So be back very soon.
Sounds good.
We'll keep you in the loop.
Oh, thanks, guys. I think that's a really good idea. Taking back disclosure to our hands, to citizen scientists, to actually see stuff over our house and log it, and then give the data to real experts who can crack this mystery. Look at their website, get a device if that suits you, but most of all, remember, because of you, the truth can be out there.